Don't forget to silence your gadgets if you have any. And today, Commissioner Ott is doing the invocation. Commissioner Tyler is doing the pledge. If you wish to join in either or both, please rise.
As we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. You are the source of all knowledge and understanding. Therefore, we seek your direction in our decision-making process. Help us to listen attentively to others with open hearts and minds. Remind the people to be subject to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready to do whatever is good, to slander no one, to be peaceable and considerate, and always to be gentle towards everyone. Amen.
Amen. If everybody can join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Bell.
Here.
Curran.
Here.
Freely. Present. Harrison.
Here.
Engelmann.
Here.
Ott.
Here.
Pittsford.
Present.
Tyler. Here. Wolrath.
Here.
Werfel. Here. Yarborough. Elliott.
Here.
You have 11 present.
Thank you. Minutes from the 12th of June.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Ott, supported by Volrath. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, I understand we have communications.
You have 2 communications. One was an email from a resident regarding the River Valley Senior Center expenditures and FOIA oversight. It had 5 attachments. Email was received on 6/13/2025. An email from Southwest Michigan Tourist Council, summer activities for kids in Southwest Michigan, email received 6/12/2025. We also had a third one. I apologize. I sent it yesterday. Senior Center from Southwest Michigan Tourist Council.
Okay, thank you. Public comments about the resolutions. If anyone has any, this would be the time. Sir.
Pelter Hager. I see you have one here on Senior Center. I think I harped on this once before. And you got it in here again. And I go to the one out there. Of course, I live at Hager Shores. They don't have anything out there, so I go to the one out there. That's North Lincoln, St. Joe Township and St. Joe. And I counted them up the other day, and there's about 35,000 people it covers. Out of 152,000, so that's more than a third of the budget. And what do we get? Same as everybody else. Is that fair? Well, why don't you just divide it up? You know, how many 152,000 people divided by 2 billion, million, or whatever it is, and then everybody, then you count up the number of people in that district or area, and then give it to them. The reason that school out there is so successful because they got a lot of rich people living there. People that work at Whirlpool. Me, no, I don't live out there, but I contribute quite a bit of money. Like that drinking fountain that you have out there. Remember I told you about it? I bought one for those people out there, and they thank me every day when I go out there. Fill up their water bottle because you don't want to do anything for the masses. It's just like that sign on here. It's an insult as far as I'm concerned. I showed you we got a sign out there in all the buildings at 50 people max. What you put out there? Who put that sign out there?
2 minutes, sir.
49. That's an insult.
Thank you, Mr. Pelzer. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, we'll go to the consent calendar. Haven't heard about any resolution being tabled or pulled for discussion. If that's the case, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as submitted? Who said, moved by Pitchford? Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Harrison. Discussion. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman, Ott,
Yes.
Pittsford,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Borath,
Yes.
Orfel,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes. Okay, we'll go to the other side of the page. Committee reports, finances first.
Good, thank you. Mr. Chair, we do have one board appointment that we need to make. Is that all right to do that now, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
As was previously mentioned, Gary Wood has stepped down from the planning commission and the position, the term runs through 12/31 of 2025, so it'll be a short fill. But we would like to appoint John Humphreys to fill that term. And Mr. Chair, so that's what we'd like to do. I make that motion.
Does that, is there support? So moved by Hinkleman, supported by Freeling. Any discussion? Sir,
Can we just get a little background on Mr. Humphries? Is there any background on Mr. Humphries, what he does?
Don't have his bio in front of me.
So, Mr. Humphrey was former mayor of the city of New Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot of planning experience just from that, but also just his other experience and trainings and different capacities. He's been serving there for quite some time. The reason we are appointing him to the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission is because in our bylaws for the county planning commission, one of the planning commission members is to be appointed to the regional planning organization. And so our county planning commission took the action of making that recommendation with concurrence of this board making that appointment.
Commissioner Freeling, can you just clarify? So Mr. Humphries is on the county planning commission.
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
And then this appointment is because of his position as a planning commission member of our county planning
Got
commission.
it. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Administrator, is it all right if we could just take and why don't you, if just electronically send everybody his bio?
Yep.
That way you'll have his bio. That'd be great. Okay? All right.
okay, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Mr. Humphries is appointed to fill the balance of the term that Gary Wood had, which is through the end of this calendar year.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did not have any bid openings and to review or approve. But we did have 3 waivers. One was for the roof system at the Buchanan 500 Circle Drive Center. And that was a waiver that is going to go to Stony Creek Roofing for $219,950 to put a roof system on that. We had one that went to the print shop for a new envelope printer, and that's for $21,865. And then a third waiver went to Wold Engineering for the continued architectural and engineering services that they're providing also at 500 Circle. And that was for $168,750. And I think, other than the things that the administrator shared with everybody in their meetings, I think that was it. Anything else that I missed? I think so.
Questions for finance? Personnel and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We also met this morning. We did not have any resolutions to approve. The ones that were on our agenda today had come from a prior meeting. Had the privilege of having Guy from the Health Department and Erica from GIS come in and give their reports to us. Both went into significant detail regarding departmental activities and a lot of the positive work that they are completing. We also then had the privilege of having our chairman and administrator come in. We talked through a couple of issues and gave them guidance and direction and a couple of assignments for us to complete. So the most interesting thing about the meeting was that we had 3
of the new department heads with us today. So Kristen, Guy, and Erica. And so, you know, a lot of good talent in the room and good discussion, a lot of input. And that basically concluded our meeting.
Mr. Chair of PHS, for the full board, I was hoping that we could just briefly expand on some of the things occurring within GIS. I mean, some major accomplishments have been reported from Erica to the committee. Is it okay if I just quickly summarize that?
You can if you like, or I can. It's up-
Please, go ahead.
No, I'll let you run with it.
All right, to the board, we've talked with you all through the budget process. We talked about making major investments into ArcGIS. So that was one of the first jobs assigned to Erica, knowing that she would have to work in partnership with the IS department to get those contracts in order and then get the actual onboarding process for that new software. She's got that underway. Through the interview process, we made crystal clear to Erica that some of the GIS data for 911 was way behind, outdated, needed to be addressed because it's potentially a life safety issue. She's been tackling that literally since day one. Over the last week, we have a brand new staff person working directly for Erica's department that is focused on 911 data. And then lastly, she's added an assistant director. I mean, I just look at this. She needed to get the software. She needed to get the department built. Both have been accomplished. So if you see her, please give her a pat on the back. Really good things are occurring.
You know, I would add that she noted that this is the first time the department's been fully staffed in a number of years. And then also there's a lot of good work being done with the assessors and our treasurer's department and our head of assessing. So a lot of good cooperation going on between the various departments and some issues that we might as commissioners hear about. So be glad to contact her if you have questions. That we can conclude the report. from
Questions
PHS.
for PHS? Hearing none, we'll go to admin.
Thank you, Mac. First in to see us this morning was Animal Control. Ashley and Melissa both were in to see us this morning, and Commissioner Tyler would like to report out on that.
Yes, Ashley gave a report that they are fully staffed, 7 full-time, 15 part-time, and 50 volunteers. The staff went through training for rabies and bath euthanization. And also they were certified, 3 employees were certified with Pula rum testing workshop at MSU for testing of chickens with viruses. Right now, we have 25 dogs for adoption and 32 cats for adoption. It is the kitten season, please adopt. Also, right now, we are currently at, for 1-year license, 1,244 with 12 expired license right now reported. 3 years, we have 1,220 licensed at this time and none expired. And on Sunday, June 22nd, from 10 to 1 at the Eau Claire Fire Department, there will be a vaccine and microchip clinic. And also, if you're interested, you can go visit those cats and kittens and dogs. There's an adoption event at the United Federal Credit Union in St. Joe by the Harding and Neon Grill area on Friday, June 20th from 11 to 2 p.m. That's all for my report on animal control.
Thank you, Sharon. Next in to see us was our building and grounds superintendent, Don Trail, and he brought along his assistant superintendent, Jesse Pomeroy. And they brought us up to date on the deferred maintenance list. They went through the completed, the in progress, the ones that are out to bid, and the projects that are on hold. Everything seems to be moving along pretty much on schedule. After that, we had the chair and Brian in to see us. Brian talked to us about the juvenile center and the water. Also talked to us about 500 Circle that John reported out on. And we have a few resolutions for you the next time we get together. Resolution ending in 251. This is Family Division to enter into a contract for counseling with Hunter Counseling. 256 is to receive funds from the DNR grant to the Marine Division for the Sheriff's Department. And resolution ending in 258. This is for the court to submit to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a grant for $110,000 for the Family Division. And that is our report.
Any questions for admin? Okay, we'll go to commissioner reports and we'll go clockwise.
No report other than fun fact, my mom 2 days ago turned 90, so she
Wow.
celebrated her 90th.
I have a few things to report on. So Friday, I attended the Corwell Health Foundation Gala. I was excited to see a few of our electeds, including our county prosecutor, county sheriff, our health officer. There was a few others too. I may be missing their names, but yeah, it was all about mental health. And so they talked more about what Corwell is doing as far as their behavioral health initiatives. And it was a good gala. On Saturday, I attended the Juneteenth parade. That was fun and exciting for just the community to come out to celebrate Juneteenth, which is today. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. And then yesterday, I attended the Mental Health Authority board meeting with Commissioner Ott. And we talked about, so the state MDHHS is going to do a PIHP rebid where they're, instead of funding and the responsibility of offering services to our residents are currently the responsibility of CMHs. It's going to then become the responsibility of PIHPs, which is prepaid and prepaid inpatient health plans. And that's going to basically do away with the responsibilities that SWIMBA currently has. And so SWIMBA will no longer be a thing under this new contract with MDHHS come October of 2026. And so this will do some changes to how Riverwood conducts its services and how the state kind of conducts its services in terms of mental health. We've been talking with the board on how to address, just how to oppose this thing that the state is doing. Our CEO of Riverwood, he's going to be meeting with Rep. Andrews and Rep. Paquette to talk about some of these changes and how it will impact our community, because it's going to take away local representation for offering these services. And so there's more to come on that, but it's something that counties across the state are opposing. So that's my report.
I apologize for being tardy today. It was a combination of sun is now teething. And we had the Juneteenth breakfast this morning with local leaders in Benton Harbor and Benton Township, clergy, pastors, and then there were candidates from around the state that came and spoke about their campaigns and running for office. The only thing I'll leave you with on this happy Juneteenth is if you have a second to look up General Order 3. It was what was signed in Galveston, Texas to free the slaves. I think it is a very timely piece of reading for what's happening in the world today. Thank you.
On Tuesday, I attended the Silver Beach playground equipment ribbon cutting with 5 of my county commissioners. Commissioner Yarborough and Commissioner Werfel and Harrison gave great speeches. Jill Adams did a great job with the playground. The donors, unbelievable. It's a very positive event. If you see the turf, what's underneath the playground, I want that type of flooring for my kitchen. It is very comfortable.
Let's see, on Tuesday, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, they primarily went through their transportation plan for the year. Along with Terry and Julie, they also sit on that Southwest Michigan Planning. I also attended the Silver Beach Playground dedication. Beautiful day. A lot of nice speeches were given. And I gotta give Jill Adams credit for acknowledging Brian Bailey. You know, I mean, a lot of this goes back to even when Brian was in charge. So I was happy to see her do that. Yesterday I attended the 500 Circle update. There is a rather large document. We received a paper copy. I asked Brian if he would forward that to all the commissioners so you folks can see. This is more in much more detail as to what's going to occur at 500 Circle. And if you have any feedback, any input from looking at this document, please let Brian know as soon as possible. Because you'll see there's a timeline in there, but I highly doubt we're going to keep that timeline. It's a little too tight, but we're going to try to stay close. And that's all I have.
I've been very busy, but no report.
What, golf? Golf?
No, it ain't.
I also attended the Riverwood meeting yesterday, and the changes are huge. I mean, the financial burden that's gonna fall to the counties it's pretty substantial. A $20 million shortfall just in their operating budget alone. And they're breaking down 9 current regions to just 3. Yeah, 2 larger ones and then the Detroit area. So the quality of care is going to be really reduced. It was definitely an interesting report. So, yes, sir.
Is that something that the legislature is gonna pass, or is that something that MDHHS and SWMBA are gonna make that decision unilaterally?
So, yeah, MDHHS, they have unilateral control. MDHHS, they have unilateral control over that. But there are tools that the legislature could use to try to stop that, or to urge, you know, the governor's office to work with that department to try to avoid some of the dangers that we see.
Is this something that's on Mac's radar at all?
Yes.
Yeah, MAC is definitely speaking out against it. In fact, they wanted to approve it before the November elections, which makes no sense because it may pass, but then you'll have a new set of electors in there that decide, well, now we don't want this, so now everything will be up in the air. They're well aware of it. It's the change. It's just ridiculous. It really is.
On the MAC HHS committee, I serve on that, and it is on the platform, but when we talked about it just 2 weeks ago on the platform itself, it hasn't passed as far as that isn't actually being input into position at this point. So it's not a done deal.
Got it, thank you.
So I attended the CEO council last Friday down at the old courthouse in Berrien Springs. Also the Silver Beach ribbon cutting. I'd echo comments from the other commissioners. Really just a wonderful event. And then participated in a meeting with the Lincoln Township supervisor and a representative of AT&T to talk about phone issues. Yeah. But Tim? Yeah.
You done?
I'm done.
All right. I attended the Connexus meeting last Friday. It was budget time and our new fiscal year starts July 1st. So that's what we worked on. Went to CEO along with Commissioner Harrison. It was it's at the historical courthouse. It was also a happy hour, if you will. There was no wine or alcohol, and it was also very, very lightly attended. If there was, I mean, maybe 8 municipalities there?
Yeah.
There was not very many people. So I don't know that that's a great idea to do that. But anyway, the planning commission, Jim had mentioned, one of the other things we talked about, West Michigan Trails came in and they talked about the master plan. That's 18 counties, including, gosh, as far north as Ludington
Yeah.
I mean, and over to like
Muskegon
Grant,
County.
yeah, so it's a lot of counties. It's a lot bigger, obviously, than what is normal, but we did pass a resolution supporting the master plan. The number one priority was wayfinding on the trails, because it includes they've included in this master plan all of the connecting points, right? So like the Marquette Way, Greenway going up all the way through. So while we've done most of our work on that trail, the wayfinding isn't all there. And so that was the number one priority in the master plan. Attended the Silver Beach ribbon cutting. The best thing to me about the ribbon cutting was the kids were playing on the equipment behind us. It was awesome. It was really cool. And then afterwards, because of course we had cookies, Jill had cookies and stuff down there and snacks or whatever. And so then the kids were enjoying those as well. So it was like, yeah, sugar those kids up. you know?
Yeah.
But it was really a lot of fun. Attended the Royalton meeting this week. And then also I sat in on the Zoom for opioid with Wayne State University. Lisa Peoples was on there as well from the health department. And that was interesting on the things going on mostly in Wayne County. Is mostly what they talked about. We talked about earlier how the funding in the state, they have a lot of funding. We're like, we could use some of that in these rural counties. But numbers talk. That's my report.
Thank you. This past week, we had a BC BIT meeting. We had an update from MEC. In our consent agenda, we had one of the quarterly payments that just came out. They were talking about the status of where things are at. Next areas that they're going to be focusing on for build out are going to be Three Oaks, Chickiming, Galeen, and New Buffalo, and then Hartford and Watervliet. They're about 74% complete in a lot of those project areas. So they're pushing hard and the weather has been cooperative for them. One of the other things that we had in BC BIT was Dan Manning came from Connected Nation, Michigan, to talk about what's called LEO or low Earth orbit satellite services. Some of the main names that you may recognize most prevalent is Starlink, but there is also one called Kubrick from Amazon, and that's another one. But we were sort of talking a little bit about the services and what could potentially be utilized from these low orbit satellites for broadband deployment and services. Interesting enough, though, even with those satellite services, even though it's around the world, only 2% of the population can actually take advantage of that right now, because of the array and how it aligns to direct linkage. Because if you have a satellite on the ground, it has to have visual connection to the satellite in the air. Dave, you good?
Time's up, Terry.
Done. 2 minutes, Commissioner. Thank you. No more. Just real quickly, though, later into our conversation, we had an update from DCS Technologies. That's the consultant that we use for broadband. And he was updating us on a notice that came out from the NTIA. This is the federal funding that we've been talking about for BEAD. And he had given us a kind of a not so great update on that. And then I sat in on the Michigan Internet office on their webinar on what they had read from the guidance from the NTIA. And as of now, all applications from the state of Michigan are null and void because of what the reform guidances have come out for BEAD. I sat in on that webinar. They do have a pretty fast and aggressive timeline from the MyHigh office to accept applications once they get everything rolled out. They have 90 days to implement what the NTIA's information and guidance had stated. And so I think they're going to open the window of applications for like 2 weeks, and then they're going to collect them and close them and then review them again. But the biggest thing that was changed is technology neutrality. And so they're opening it up for more fixed wireless. Remember, BC BIT had always been talking about how, while we're not going to say our preference on technology, we recognize that fiber is the most future-proof. So in this guidance, they have technology neutrality, but they open up some of the language to allow for these low orbit satellites to be prioritized. It's almost comparing apple to oranges rather than apple to apple. So there's more to come on that. If you have more questions on it, feel free to ask me because I'm way past my 2 minutes. Southwest Michigan Planning Commission has been covered. Silver Beach ribbon cutting I attended. The WOLD Executive Committee on the 500 Circle I attended. I went to the Berrien Community Foundation Scholarship Award over the weekend, or over, no, it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. And then there was one other thing, but there's a lot of things happening this week for me. So that's my report.
Commissioner Freeling, just as a quick follow-up, one thing that BC Bid asked for that you all should just be aware of
Oh,
is
yes.
on the BEAD front. This is very much a federal issue. We've done outreach to members of the federal legislature, trying to get some attention brought to
Yes.
the changes being pushed from the federal level to the state level on BEAD. The intent is just to make sure that there is an understanding of how those changes impact Berrien County. So to Congressman Huizenga, to Congressman Wahlberg, I've reached out to both of them, and we're in the process of scheduling those discussions so that BC Bid members have a chance to just say, here's what's happened over the last 5 years. Here's how small the area that remains is. If we can just work through the BEAD process, here's how we can get the last of those roughly 1,400 addresses connected. And literally, you can point to the entire county and say, it's done. Sorry for the interruption.
No, I appreciate
Yep.
you saying that because that was another point that I had in here, but didn't follow up on. So thank you. That's my report.
Did you have anything
No,
else?
sir.
Ma'am?
Sorry, I don't think Sharon brought this up either. We did have Brownfield last week. Yeah, we both forgot about it. Didn't go far enough back in my calendar to Thursday. But one of the interesting things going on in Brownfield right now is that the number of housing, since they opened Brownfield up to housing projects, the number of housing projects that are starting to come in. So it's exciting to see that we're gonna have some of that going on here in the county and throughout the county. There's a lot of different municipalities that have them going on.
To the board, if the tentative plans actually come together, you're talking about just a massive addition of new housing starts as well as overall tax base. Really exciting. That change to the law appears to be a really good tool to get new housing started. So glad you brought it up.
Ma'am?
Commissioner Werfel, thank you for bringing that up. I thought of that afterwards. The other thing is the Speedway project is back on, which I said last meeting, we were told it was off. So everything's moving forward again.
Okay. If no one has anything else to report, we'll go to public comments. Anything under the sun in 2 minutes or less. Name and town if you wish to opine.
Sir Hager. You know, America is democracy, right? I'm looking around here. Where are the people that voted for you? You ought to be ashamed of that. You know, democracy means they got it right. What are these two people doing here? I know him, I don't know her. Well, how come they don't have any name tags? Well, you guys know him, yeah, they go to the meetings, see? Yeah, well, I know he's got a badge on, he's got his name on there. Next thing you know, you're gonna force me to carry a name here too, right? We know who you are. But this is a democracy. No, the only time we have a democracy here is when we have an election. No, then you want our money, right? You're spending other people's money. This is an insult. You guys seem to think it's funny. If you had a meeting in the evening, I guess I keep suggesting it, you know, you'd have a few more people here. Because you guys don't want, then you'd have to listen to a few more people. You don't want that. No, you listen to me, that's enough. You shut me down in about 2 minutes. And it's probably Friday glad it's only 2 minutes, otherwise there might be here if you had about 10 people there. Each one had 2 minutes, at 20 minutes. You guys would be late for lunch for 20 minutes. Or the meeting would be lasting a little longer. This way, I'm surprised you didn't cut it down to 1 minute or get somebody get the guy out, the policeman at the door over there, check me, make sure I don't come in. No, this is an instant, this is a democracy. No, Uncle Joe Stalin would be proud. Yeah, he was called Uncle Joe during the Second World War.
2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Pelzer. Always good to hear from you. Does anyone else wish to be heard?
Out of curiosity, Annette, can you tell how many viewers are watching on YouTube?
Eight.
Thank you for looking that up for me.
8.
Anyone else? I would acknowledge that the Drain Commissioner, George McManus, is here, and the prosecuting attorney, Amy Bird, is here, and the undersheriff, Greg Sanders, is here, who was here this morning earlier for the commendations for deputies. And then, of course, we have media present, an intrepid reporter from the Palladium, Julie. So if there are no other comments, we'll go to other business. I've heard, yes, sir.
We now have a picture from our sheriff with the award winners this morning in front of their new logo, so look on your emails, he's emailed it.
Okay.
Shot, so.
Before getting to announcements and reminders, I've heard a rumor through the rumor mill that Alex had a birthday yesterday.
Double nickels. It's happy about.
Oh, wow.
55.
And this little baby now, I'm really making it. Of course, you guys are much older than I am, so it's.
My letter now, or?
Hey, my job not to make friends. That's a good tip.
Well, happy birthday, Alex. We hope it was.
45 more to go, I'll be happy.
Okay, well, well,
Yeah, I won't know.
well, whatever you're doing, you might want to change your ways.
Yeah,
I tried on that earlier this morning.
Yeah. Well, okay, announcements and reminders, we have a meeting next week, then we're not meeting on the 3rd, we're closed on the 4th, and then we meet up in Waterville East Charter Township on the 10th at 6 p.m. And of course, Adolph, you're invited to come to that night meeting. We'd love to see you. Yeah, shouldn't be too far. Actually, a closer drive for you than coming all the way down here. And I've heard there might be some snacks. So little sugar wouldn't hurt you, it would sweeten you up. So.
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite, all right. Yeah. We'll take that one under advisement. If there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.